The Discovery captain Elena Reyes stared at the holographic display, her face illuminated by the red emergency lighting of the UES Defiance bridge. The tactical map showed what everyone already knew. Humanity was losing this war. And losing it badly. The Valkyrie invasion fleet had systematically dismantled Earth's defenses over the past 3 months, colony after colony falling to their superior technology and overwhelming numbers. Admiral Chen is requesting our immediate return to Earth, Lieutenant Commander Jackson reported, his voice tight with exhaustion. Like the rest of the crew, he hadn't slept properly in days. Tell him we're completing our rescue operation, Elena replied, watching as the last evacuation shuttles from Proxima Colony docked with their ship. We'll return once the civilians are secure. The Defiant was one of only 4 major warships humanity had left. 3 months ago, there had been 57. The Valkyrie had appeared without warning at the edge of the solar system, their crystalline, ships unlike anything humanity had encountered before. Their weapons cut through Earth's most advanced shields like they weren't even there. Captain, I'm detecting multiple Valkyrie signatures entering the system, called out Ensign Park from the sensor station. Estimate contact in 17 minutes. Elena's jaw tightened. Finish loading operations, we leave in 15. She turned to her XO, Commander Alejandro Diaz. Status on the classified data recovery? Complete, Captain. Dr. Sharma has retrieved everything from the research facility. The real reason they'd come to Proxima hadn't been just to evacuate civilians. The colony housed one of Earth's most secretive research installations, and Admiral Chen had been adamant that the data there couldn't fall into Valkyrie hands. Dr. Kavita Sharma entered the bridge, her normally immaculate lab coat now stained and torn. She clutched a small data core to her chest as though it were a priceless artifact. For all Elena knew it might be. I hope whatever's on that thing was worth the risk, Doctor, Elena said. Sharma didn't answer immediately. Her eyes were haunted like someone who had seen too much. Its coordinates, Captain, and technical specifications. For something called Project Harbinger. Harbinger? Elena shook her head. Never heard of it. Few have, Sharma replied. It was classified beyond top secret. A prototype warship developed nearly 40 years ago, then hidden away when political tensions made its existence problematic. Elena raised an eyebrow. A ship from 40 years ago isn't going to help us against the Valkyrie. This isn't just any ship, Sharma insisted. The lead scientist was my grandfather. He spoke of it only once when he was dying. He called it the sword in the stone and said it would save humanity when we faced extinction. I never understood until I found his hidden files today. Captain, Jackson interrupted. Valkyrie ship's accelerating. They'll be in weapons range. In 12 minutes. Elena made her decision. Set course for Earth. Wait. Sharma grabbed Elena's arm. A breach of protocol that showed her desperation. Captain, we need to find this ship. The coordinates are for a hidden shipyard in the Oort cloud. We can be there in under 2 days. Doctor, we're retreating. To Earth to make our last stand with what remains of the fleet. And then what? Sharma challenged. The Valkyrie will obliterate us, just like they did at the Battle of Mars. This ship, Harbinger, it's different. It has technology we've never implemented, technology we were afraid to use. Commander Diaz stepped closer. Captain, Earth is preparing for evacuation. The Arcturus colony ships are almost ready. Perhaps this alternative deserves consideration. Elena looked from Sharma to Diaz, then back to the tactical display showing the approaching Valkyrie vessels. The odds were impossible. Conventional tactics had failed. Perhaps it was time for something unconventional. Jackson, set course for these coordinates, she ordered, transferring the data from Sharma's core to the navigation system. Yes, Captain. But, Admiral Chen, send him a message. Tell him we're pursuing a possible game-changing asset. If we're not back in 3 days, assume we failed. The Defiant broke orbit just as the first Valkyrie ships entered the system, their crystalline hulls catching the light of Proxima Centauri. Unlike previous encounters, the enemy vessels didn't immediately give chase. They're ignoring us, Park said, surprise evident in his voice. They're heading straight for the colony. Elena felt a pang of guilt for the research facility they'd left behind, stripped of its most valuable data, but still containing equipment that might benefit the enemy. But she had to focus on the potential salvation of all humanity, not just one colony. The journey to the coordinates took 39 hours of tense, silent travel. The crew worked efficiently, but conversation was minimal. Everyone knew what was at stake. If this mysterious harbinger didn't exist or couldn't help them, they'd effectively deserted their posts during humanity's final hours. Approaching coordinates? Jackson announced. Sensors show nothing. Elena frowned. Are you certain this is correct, Doctor? Sharma nodded vigorously. Yes, absolutely. The shipyard would be hidden. Look for unusual gravitational readings or radiation signatures. Running deep scans, Park said, fingers flying over his console. After several minutes, he looked up. Captain, there's a small gravitational anomaly half a kilometer from our position. It doesn't match any known natural phenomenon. Take us in closer, Elena ordered. As the Defiant approached the anomaly, the empty space before them suddenly rippled like heat waves over desert sand. A massive structure began to materialize, a shipyard unlike any Elena had seen before, its architecture both familiar and alien simultaneously. Some kind of advanced cloaking technology, Diaz whispered. We don't have anything like this. The shipyard was dark, powered down but clearly designed by human hands. Its skeletal frame extended for nearly a kilometer, embracing a single ship at its center. Elena's breath caught in her throat. The vessel within the shipyard's cradle was sleek and predatory, its hull a deep matte black that seemed to absorb, rather than reflect light. It was approximately twice the size of the Defiant, with lines that suggested speed and danger. That's it, Sharma breathed. Harbinger. The ship looks completely powered down, Diaz observed. It might have been here for decades. Can we dock with it? Elena asked. Jackson nodded. The shipyard's automated systems are accepting our approach signals. Docking protocols are surprisingly standard. I want a boarding team ready in 5 minutes, Elena said. Commander Diaz, you have the con. Dr. Sharma, you're with me. The boarding team consisted of Elena, Sharma, Lieutenant Marcus Chen from engineering, and 2 security officers, Rivera and Okafor. They crossed through the docking tube into the shipyard's main terminal, their magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor in the zero-gravity environment. The air was stale but breathable. Emergency lighting flickered on automatically as they moved through the terminal toward the central docking bay where Harbinger waited. This facility has been dormant for decades, Chen said, examining a control panel. Running on minimal power reserves, just enough to maintain life support and the cloaking system. They reached a vast observation window overlooking the main bay. Below them, the Harbinger rested in its cradle, even more impressive up close. Its hull bore no identifying marks, no registration numbers, nothing to tie it to Earth or its military. How do we get aboard? Elena asked. Sharma approached a secured door marked with a faded biometric scanner. My grandfather's files mentioned an override code for emergencies. She pulled out a small device and connected it to the scanner. After a moment, the door slid open with a hiss. The team descended through a series of maintenance tunnels until they reached the bay floor. Standing before the Harbinger, Elena felt a strange sense of awe. The ship seemed to radiate potential energy, like a predator at rest. The main airlock should be this way, Sharma said, leading them along the hull. The ship's airlock opened with surprising ease. Inside, the corridors were wider than standard military vessels, the design more elegant than functional. They made their way to what appeared to be the bridge, a spacious command center with stations for at least a dozen crew members. Everything's offline, Chen said, examining the dead consoles. I'm not detecting any power signatures. Sharma moved to a central pedestal in the middle of the bridge. This should be the main interface. She placed her hand on its smooth surface. Nothing happened for several seconds. Then, abruptly, the pedestal illuminated with a soft blue glow. The glow spread, racing along channels in the floor and walls, climbing to the ceiling in geometric patterns. Consoles began to light up one by one as the ship awakened from its long slumber. A holographic display appeared above the pedestal, showing a spinning Earth emblem that Elena didn't recognize, older perhaps from before the unified government. "Voice authorization required," announced a calm, gender-neutral voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Sharma pulled a small device from her pocket. "My grandfather left this." She activated it, and a recorded voice played, old,
frail, but determined. Authorization: Vikram Sharma, Project Director, Code Prometheus Ascending. The holographic Earth emblem expanded, then transformed into a humanoid figure made of blue light.
Its features were indistinct, neither male nor female, but unmistakably human. "Welcome," it said. "I am Arya, Advanced Recursive Intelligence Array, caretaker of the UES Harbinger. Project Director Sharma, you have aged significantly since our last interaction." "This is Dr. Kavita Sharma," Elena explained. "Vikram Sharma's granddaughter. I'm Captain Elena Reyes of the UES Defiant." Arya's featureless face seemed to study them. "I detect elevated stress markers in your vocal patterns and biological signatures. Has the anticipated extinction-level threat to humanity emerged?" Elena exchanged glances with her team. "Yes," she confirmed. "An alien species called the Valkyrie. They've destroyed most of our fleet and colonies. Earth is preparing for evacuation." "I understand," Arya replied. "Harbinger was created for this contingency. All systems are now initiating startup sequences." The bridge hummed with increasing power. Screens displayed incomprehensible data as ancient systems came online. "Captain," Chen said, his voice filled with wonder as he examined a technical readout. "These power readings, and I've never seen anything like this. The theoretical output is beyond anything in our current fleet, by orders of magnitude." "What exactly is this ship capable of?" Elena asked Arya. "Harbinger incorporates several technologies, deemed too advanced or potentially dangerous for implementation in the standard fleet," Arya explained. "Quantum entangled shielding, gravity lens weaponry, relativistic propulsion systems." Sharma's eyes widened. "My grandfather's theoretical work. They actually built it?" "Indeed," Arya confirmed. "However, full systems availability requires a 12-hour initialization period. Combat effectiveness would be approximately 38% if engaged immediately." Before Elena could respond, Lieutenant Rivera's communicator crackled. "Captain, Commander Diaz is reporting 3 Valkyrie vessels have entered the system. They appear to be following our trail." Elena's heart sank. "Time to intercept?" 27 minutes, Captain." Elena turned to Arya. "We don't have 12 hours. Can you get this ship moving in 20 minutes? Minimal maneuvering capabilities can be available in that time frame," Arya replied. "However, primary defensive and offensive systems will remain offline." "What about the Defiant?" Elena asked Rivera. "Commander Diaz has begun emergency power-up procedures, but the ship was in scheduled maintenance cycle. Weapons and engines are not at full capacity." Elena made her decision. "Tell Diaz to prepare for immediate departure. We're bringing Harbinger online." She turned to Arya. "Can you disengage from the shipyard autonomously?" "Affirmative. Docking clamps releasing." The ship shuddered slightly as ancient mechanisms released their grip on the hull. "We need to get back to the Defiant," Elena told her team. "Dr. Sharma, you'll stay here with Lieutenant Chen. See if you can help expedite the startup process." "Captain," Chen protested, "with all due respect, I should return to the Defiant's engine room." "Your skills are better utilized here," Elena countered. "This technology is beyond our standard training. Work with Arya and the doctor. Get this ship combat ready." As Elena and the security team rushed back through the shipyard to the Defiant, she felt the deck plates vibrating beneath her feet. Harbinger was coming to life after decades of dormancy. They reached the Defiant, just as Commander Diaz was completing pre-flight checks. "Valkyrie ships will be in weapons range in 11 minutes, he reported as Elena took her seat on the bridge. "Status of Harbinger?" she asked. "Limited power and propulsion," Jackson replied. "Area reports they can achieve 30% thrust capacity, but weapons and shields remain offline." Elena's mind raced through options. They couldn't fight. Not yet. Plot a course away from Earth. We need to buy time for Harbinger to complete its startup sequence. Where to, Captain? Jackson asked. Elena studied the star chart. The Hades Nebula. The radiation should interfere with Valkyrie sensors. We might lose them long enough to get Harbinger fully operational. As the Defiant disengaged from the shipyard, the massive form of Harbinger emerged from its berth, moving with surprising grace despite its power limitations. Together, the two ships accelerated away from the hidden facility, even as the first Valkyrie vessel appeared at the edge of their sensor range. They've spotted us, Park announced. All three Valkyrie ships are in pursuit. Time to reach the nebula? Elena asked. 43 minutes at maximum speed, Jackson replied. The Valkyrie will be in weapons range in 9. Elena opened a channel to Harbinger. Arya, what's your status? Power systems at 27%, the AI responded. Maneuvering thrusters functional. Primary propulsion at 34% capacity. Defensive systems initializing but not yet operational. Can you outrun the Valkyrie pursuit ships? Negative. Not until primary propulsion exceeds 60% capacity. Elena closed her eyes briefly, calculating options. Area, how long until Harbinger's defensive capabilities are operational? Minimum of 3 hours, 17 minutes for basic shield functionality. Too long. They'd be under fire in minutes. Captain, Commander Diaz said quietly. The Defiant could act as a decoy. Draw their fire while Harbinger escapes. Elena understood what Diaz was suggesting. A suicide mission. She shook her head. We're not sacrificing the ship and crew. Not yet. She turned to Jackson. Full power to engines. Let's see if we can reach the nebula before they catch us. 3 and Defiant surged forward, straining its engines beyond recommended parameters. Behind them, Harbinger accelerated as well, its black hull gleaming against the stars. The Valkyrie ships gained steadily. 8 minutes to weapons range. 7. 6. Elena watched the tactical display, her mind racing for a solution. Then she noticed something, a small asteroid field between their position and the nebula. Not dense enough to lose the Valkyrie ships completely, but perhaps. Change course, she ordered. Take us through the asteroid field, maximum speed. Captain, Jackson protested. At our current velocity, navigating that field would be extremely dangerous. More dangerous than Valkyrie weapons? Do it. As the Defiant changed course, Elena contacted Harbinger again. Arya, follow our exact trajectory through the asteroid field. Acknowledged, Captain Reyes. However, I calculate a 73% probability of significant hull damage at our current power levels. Better than the 100% probability of destruction if the Valkyrie catch us, Elena replied grimly. The Defiant plunged into the asteroid field first, weaving between the massive rocks with barely controlled precision. Harbinger followed, its larger size making the navigation even more treacherous. Valkyrie ships are slowing, Park reported. They're approaching the field with more caution. Buying us time? Elena nodded. Keep pushing through. Every minute counts. A tremendous impact rocked the Defiant as an asteroid grazed their port side. Warning lights flashed across multiple consoles. Hull breach on deck 3, a technician called out. Emergency force fields holding. On the main view screen, Elena watched as Harbinger executed an impossible maneuver, somehow sliding between two asteroids that seemed too close together for its massive hull. How did they do that? Diaz wondered aloud. They were 3/4 of the way through the field when Park called out, Captain, the Valkyrie ships have entered the asteroid field. They're gaining again. Elena gripped her chair's armrests. Time to clear the field. 2 minutes, 17 seconds, Jackson replied. Time until they're in weapons range. 3 minutes, 4 seconds. It would be close. Too close. Another violent impact shook the Defiant. Engine power dropping, an engineer reported. We've lost the port thruster assembly. Reroute all available power, Elena ordered. Keep us moving. They cleared the asteroid field with the Valkyrie ships less than a minute from weapons range. The nebula loomed ahead, its swirling gases promising temporary salvation. Harbinger reports their power levels are up to 41%, Jackson said. Still not enough for combat operations. We just need to reach the nebula, Elena muttered, watching. The distance counter ticked down. The first Valkyrie energy beam lanced out, missing the Defiant by mere meters. The second struck their already damaged port side, sending cascading failures through multiple systems. Shields down to 23%, the tactical officer shouted. One more direct hit and we're done. 30 seconds to nebula perimeter, Jackson counted, down his voice tight with tension. Another Valkyrie beam struck Harbinger's aft section. The black ship shuddered but continued forward, seemingly less affected than the Defiant would have been by a similar hit. 20 seconds. The Valkyrie ships fired again, a coordinated barrage aimed at both fleeing vessels. 10 seconds. Multiple impacts rocked the Defiant. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. The lights flickered and died, replaced by emergency red lighting. Entering nebula now, Jackson shouted over the chaos. The view screen filled with swirling purple and blue gases as both ships plunged into the nebula's protective embrace. Behind them, the Valkyrie vessels slowed at the perimeter, their sensors clearly struggling with the radiation interference. They're not following, Park confirmed. At least not immediately. Elena let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. Damage report. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 5. Engine efficiency down to 62%. Weapon systems offline. Long-range communications compromised, Diaz listed grimly. And Harbinger? Minor damage reported. Area says their startup sequence is continuing despite the damage. Power levels now at 47% and rising. Elena nodded. Find us a place to hide deeper in the nebula, somewhere we can make repairs and give Harbinger time to fully activate. She paused, looking at the mysterious ship visible on their short-range sensors. Our last hope now rests with a myth. The counterattack. The radiation-thick clouds of the Hades Nebula concealed both vessels as they drifted deeper into its protective embrace. On the Defiance bridge, Elena studied the damage reports with growing concern. The ship had sustained critical hits to multiple systems, and repairs would take days they didn't have. Any sign of the Valkyrie? She asked Park at the sensor station. They're patrolling the nebula's perimeter, he replied. I think they're waiting for us to emerge rather than risking their ships in this radiation. Elena nodded. Smart tactics. The nebula's radiation interfered with sensors and shields, making navigation dangerous for any vessel. It bought them time, but not a solution. Status of Harbinger? She asked. Power levels at 62% and climbing steadily, Jackson reported. Area estimates full operational capability in approximately 7 hours. Open a channel, Elena ordered. Aria's holographic face appeared on the main view screen. Captain Reyes, Harbinger's primary systems are coming online according to schedule. Dr. Sharma and Lieutenant Chen have been instrumental in optimizing the initialization process. We need to develop a strategy, Elena said. Once you're fully operational, what exactly can Harbinger do against the Valkyrie? Based on the combat data you've shared, Harbinger's quantum-entangled shield should be capable of withstanding Valkyrie energy weapons, Aria replied. Our offensive capabilities include gravity lens-focused particle beams and relativistic kinetic projectiles. In English, please, Commander Diaz requested. We can hit harder than they can defend, and they cannot hit hard enough to penetrate our defenses, Aria clarified. However, I must note that Harbinger was designed as a prototype. It has never engaged in actual combat. Elena frowned. So we're betting humanity's survival on untested technology? Not entirely untested, came Dr. Sharma's voice as she joined Aria in the transmission. My grandfather's notes indicate extensive simulations and controlled tests. The technology works. It's just never been deployed in a full combat scenario. Doctor, what can you tell me about these weapon systems? Elena asked. The gravity lens system uses localized warping of space-time to focus particle beams with unprecedented precision and power, Sharma explained, her eyes bright with scientific excitement. Essentially, it creates a gravitational lens that multiplies the beam's energy by an order of magnitude while maintaining perfect focus at extreme ranges. And the relativistic kinetic weapons? Small projectiles accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed, Sharma said. The kinetic energy on impact is astronomical. Elena considered this information. Arya, how many Valkyrie ships could Harbinger engage simultaneously? At full operational capacity, Harbinger could theoretically engage up to 12 Valkyrie vessels with a high probability of success. 12. The entire remaining Earth defense fleet couldn't handle that many, but 12 ships were just a fraction of the Valkyrie armada now surrounding Earth. We need to get back to Earth, Elena decided. But first, we need to deal with the 3 pursuit ships outside the nebula. I have a suggestion. Lieutenant Chen joined the conversation. Harbinger's systems include advanced quantum communications that should function despite the nebula's interference. We could contact Admiral Chen, coordinate a counterattack. Elena shook her head. Not yet. If we reveal Harbinger's existence prematurely, the Valkyrie might adapt their tactics. We need the element of surprise. She paused, thinking. How long until the Defiance engines are operational? Engineering reports minimum of 10 hours for basic maneuvering capability, Diaz replied. That's too long, Elena muttered. Arya, could Harbinger tow the Defiant if necessary? Affirmative. Once our propulsion systems reach 80% capacity, we could establish a tractor connection. Good. Then we have a new plan. Once Harbinger is fully operational, we'll engage the 3 Valkyrie vessels directly. After neutralizing them, we'll proceed to Earth at maximum speed. Captain, Diaz cautioned, even with Harbinger's capabilities, the Valkyrie fleet at Earth numbers over 30 vessels. I'm aware, Commander, Elena replied grimly, but we don't have to defeat them all. We just need to create an opening for the Arcturus evacuation ships to escape. The hours passed with agonizing slowness. The crew of the Defiant worked tirelessly on repairs, while aboard Harbinger, Sharma, and Chen assisted Arya with final system optimizations. Elena used the time to study the technical specifications of Harbinger more thoroughly. The ship's design was decades ahead of current Earth technology. It wasn't just a warship. It was a technological revolution that had been hidden away out of fear of its potential. 6 hours later, Arya reported that Harbinger had reached 94% operational capacity. All primary offensive and defensive systems are online and functional. Propulsion at 87% capacity. Excellent, Elena said. Initiate tractor systems and prepare to move the Defiant deeper into the nebula, where it will be safe during our engagement with the Valkyrie. Acknowledged, Captain. Establishing tractor connection now. On the bridge of the Defiant, Elena felt a slight vibration as Harbinger's tractor beam engaged. The damaged ship began to move smoothly through the nebula, guided by its powerful companion. Find us a suitable hiding place, Elena instructed Park. Somewhere the radiation is dense enough to mask the Defiant's signature completely. There's a pocket of thorium-rich asteroid debris approximately 7 kilometers deeper in, Park replied. The radiation there would effectively hide us from Valkyrie sensors. Perfect. Arya, take us there. Once the Defiant was secured, Elena addressed her crew. I'll be transferring to Harbinger to command the engagement against the Valkyrie patrol. Commander Diaz, you have the Defiant. Continue repairs and be ready to move when we return. Captain, Diaz protested, regulations state that commanding officers should not unnecessarily risk themselves in. This is necessary, Commander. Elena cut him off. Harbinger is our only hope for survival. I need to be there. She softened her tone. Besides, you're the best person to oversee the Defiance repairs. Diaz nodded reluctantly. Yes, Captain. Elena transferred to Harbinger with a small tactical team, including Lieutenant Park for his sensor expertise. The interior of the prototype vessel was now fully illuminated, its advanced systems humming with power. The bridge was spacious and ergonomically designed, with Arya's holographic form hovering near the central command chair. Welcome aboard, Captain, Arya greeted her. All systems are now at 97% capacity and rising. Estimated time to full operational. Status, 14 minutes. Status of the Valkyrie patrol? Elena asked, settling into the command chair. They continue to maintain a perimeter around the nebula, Park reported, familiarizing himself with Harbinger's sensor systems. No change in their formation. Elena studied the tactical display. Aria, what's the optimal exit vector to engage all three vessels simultaneously? Calculating now, Aria replied. The tactical display shifted, showing a flight path through the nebula that would bring them out at a specific point relative to the Valkyrie ships. This trajectory will allow us to engage all three vessels within a 2.3-second window. Set course, Elena ordered. Tactical status? Gravity lens weapons, charged and targeting systems online, reported Lieutenant Rivera, who had taken the tactical station. Relativistic projectile launchers loaded and ready. Shield status? Quantum entangled shields at 100% capacity, Dr. Sharma confirmed from the engineering station. According to these readings, they should completely neutralize Valkyrie energy. Weapons. Elena took a deep breath. This was it. Humanity's first real counterattack since the Valkyrie invasion began. Everything depended on Harbinger living up to its legendary potential. Begin nebula exit sequence, she ordered. Battle stations. Harbinger moved with surprising grace for a vessel of its size, gliding through the nebula's swirling clouds, toward the exit point. As they approached the perimeter, Elena could see the three Valkyrie ships on the tactical display, still unaware of what was about to emerge. Weapons range in 30 seconds, Rivera announced. Hold fire until my command. Elena said, let's see how they react to our presence first. Harbinger burst from the nebula like a predator from hiding. For a moment, the Valkyrie ships didn't react, perhaps confused by the unfamiliar vessel signature. They're scanning us, Park reported, attempting to identify. Now they're moving, to attack formation, Rivera added. Weapons charging. Aria, open a channel to all three vessels, Elena ordered. Channel open, the AI confirmed. Elena stood from her command chair. Valkyrie vessels, this is Captain Elena Reyes of the United Earthship Harbinger. You have invaded Earth territory and attacked our colonies without provocation. You will withdraw immediately or be destroyed. There was no response, but the Valkyrie ships accelerated toward them, weapons ports glowing with energy. They're firing, Park called out. Multiple energy beams lanced out from the Valkyrie vessels, striking Harbinger's shields directly. The bridge crew tensed, accustomed to the violent shaking that typically accompanied such impacts. But there was nothing. No impact tremor, no shield strain warnings, nothing to indicate they'd been hit at all except for the visual confirmation on their screens. Shield status? Elena asked, amazed. Quantum entangled shields holding at 100%. Sharma reported, her voice filled with wonder. No degradation whatsoever. The attacks are being completely negated. The Valkyrie ships fired again, this time with their full weapon complement. Again, Harbinger absorbed the assault without any sign of strain. They're adjusting their attack pattern, Rivera observed, moving to surround us. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Target the lead vessel. Gravity lens weapons only. Target locked, Rivera confirmed. Fire. A beam of concentrated energy, invisible except for the slight distortion of space around it, lanced out from Harbinger's primary weapon array. It struck the lead Valkyrie ship precisely amidships. Unlike conventional energy weapons that would splash against shields, this beam passed through the Valkyrie defenses as if they weren't there. The effect was immediate and devastating. The crystalline hull of the Valkyrie vessel shattered along the beam's path, the ship breaking apart in a spectacular explosion that sent fragments spinning in all directions. The bridge crew stared in stunned silence. They had never seen a Valkyrie ship destroyed so easily, so completely. Target the second vessel, Elena ordered, breaking the spell. Fire when ready. The remaining Valkyrie ships attempted evasive maneuvers, but Harbinger's targeting systems were too precise, too quick. The second gravity lens beam found its mark, cleaving through the Valkyrie ship from bow to stern. It didn't explode so much as disintegrate, its structure failing catastrophically under the unprecedented attack. The third Valkyrie vessel abruptly changed course, accelerating away at maximum speed. They're retreating, Park announced, attempting to enter FTL. Target their engines, Elena commanded. Disable, don't destroy. Rivera adjusted his targeting. Locked on engine section. Fire. The beam struck with surgical precision, severing the Valkyrie ship's propulsion systems from the rest of the hull. The vessel drifted, powerless, but intact. They're launching escape pods, Park reported. Life signs indicate approximately 40. Valkyrie abandoning ship. Elena nodded. Let them go. We need survivors to report what happened here. She turned to Aria. Status report? All systems functioning at optimal levels, the AI replied. Shields at 100%, weapons charged and ready, no damage sustained. Set course for Earth, Elena ordered. Maximum speed. As Harbinger accelerated away from the disabled Valkyrie vessel, Elena contacted the Defiant. Commander Diaz, we've neutralized the Valkyrie patrol. We're proceeding to Earth. Continue repairs and follow when you're able. Understood, Captain, Diaz replied, unable to keep the amazement from his voice. Did Harbinger perform as expected? Better, Elena said simply. We're going to save Earth. The journey to Earth took just under 16 hours at Harbinger's. Maximum sustainable speed, far faster than any standard Earth vessel could manage. As they approached the Sol system, the tactical situation became clear. 32 Valkyrie warships surrounding Earth, with the remaining Earth defense fleet, just 3 ships, protecting the Arcturus evacuation vessels still loading civilians. Open a secure channel to Admiral Chen, Elena ordered as they reached the outer system boundary.